What is up, book nerds? My name is Hillary, and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see, by all of these books, these stacks right here, I have a big book haul for you guys. So let's grab our drinks and sit back and relax because this book haul is going to be a long one. So I am looking at these stacks and trying to figure out where I want to start, and I think I'm just going to start over here on the right side. All of these books right here are all the books that I've gotten from Book of the Month the past couple of months. I have not done a book haul for a long time on here, so these books have been bought and accumulated over the past probably 3-4 months. So I am excited to share these with you. But yeah, so just so you know, I did not just go out and buy all these books at one time. That did not happen. I could not afford that. So we're going to start off this book haul with a book that was sent to me by an author. He emailed me through my YouTube channel. So if you would like me to review any of your books out there for any authors, my email is my info on my YouTube channel. And go ahead and email me and I will do what I can do to review your book. But he sent me his book, which is Linden Falls by Joshua Hershey. He sent me a little paper that describes books, so I will do that for you. But I wanted to show you, he did personalize it and sign it for me, which I thought was so sweet. I'm very excited to get into this because I know it's fantasy. But it says on here, so this says right at the bottom of this paper, it says Linden Falls is an imaginative and thrilling dark fantasy fiction novel by the author Joshua Hershey. This is a well-written and tightly crafted story with a gripping plot and rich, memorable characters. Mabel is a strong female protagonist who overcomes adversity to free her people. There are strong Christian messages throughout the book, which make this a unique and powerful read. This has gotten the Brew Books Excellence Award, which I think that's pretty cool. And I'm excited to read this, and I'm probably most likely going to be doing a reading vlog reading this book because I really want to give the author a honest opinion of what I think of his book, and what better way to do that than as I'm reading it and tell you guys what I think about it. So I will hopefully be doing a reading vlog in August for this book and let you guys know what I think about it. So we're starting with my Book of the Month books, and this first book I'm going to be telling you about I got back in April, and it is Adelaide by Genevieve Wheeler. I don't know much about this, but I know it has to do with love and just basically talking about is love enough and what we will do when we find the strength to put ourselves first. And I don't want to know much going into this. It is a short read. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I am very excited to get to this, so I'm hoping maybe this fall I'll get to it or right before fall hits. This next one is a thriller that I also got in April, and it is The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. I love thrillers. I am collecting my thrillers for October, and I'm so excited to get to them. So it says a little snippet: 7 hours in the past, 7 days in the present, 7 survivors remaining. Who would you save? This just sounds really good. It sounds like a ultimatum type of thing, and choose who you want to pick and save. So that just sounds intriguing to me. I don't think I've ever read a Megan Miranda book, but I am very excited to get to this one and see what I think about it. This next book I have seen everywhere, and anybody who reads it has nothing but great things to say about it. And this one was an extra add-on from Book of the Month, so it wasn't one of their monthly book choices, but I added it on from a past monthly book choice, and that book is really good actually, by Monica Heisey. I hope I'm saying that right. And it just says, a hilarious and painfully relatable debut novel by one woman's messy search for joy and meaning in the wake of an unexpected breakup, from comedian, essayist, and award-winning screenwriter Monica Heisey. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. That just sounds really good and intriguing, and I think it's going to be funny, especially because she's a comedian, and I think this is going to be very relative to people now, especially like after you go through a big messy breakup and what you can do with going through those steps. And then we have some of the books that I picked for this month in July, and the first one is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I've not read a Catherine Center book before. She has written The Bodyguard. Do I own it? Yes. Have I read it? No. But will I? Eventually. That's why I collect books. If I didn't have any interest in it, I wouldn't have it. I mean, I'll eventually read it. I mean, soon enough. But this one says, love isn't blind, it's just a little blurry. That's all I want to know going into this, and it's a romance, and I'm excited to get to this, and maybe I'll do a reading vlog of reading both of her books and comparing and seeing which one I like more. This next one was the thriller pick for July, and it just sounds amazing. I have read a Megan Golden book before. I read her, what's it called? The Night Swim, which I absolutely loved. And the book that I chose was Dark Corners by Megan Golden. It says she can't see what she fears the most. That just sounds very intriguing. I will not read anything about this book until, and I don't want to know anything going into it because it is a thriller. I want to be surprised. I don't want to be spoiled for anything. But like I said, I liked her other book, why can't I think of it? The Night Swim, and I loved the interview aspect of it, and so I'm excited to get to this one and see what I think. And this cover is so gorgeous. I love the black with the face in the background and the colors on the side. These next two I'm not really going to talk about because they are well-known books, and I'm just going to tell you which books they are and why I bought them. So I got The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I got this one because I recently read The Silent Patient by him. Really loved it. And I really want to get to reading this one and see what I think. I've heard that this one isn't as good as The Silent Patient, but we'll see what I think of it. And then the next book that I got is one that's been out for a while, and it's a sci-fi, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, the reason why I got this, I'm not a big sci-fi person, but the reason I got this is because I've heard nothing but great things from Hannah and Rachel about this book, and I think I'm going to get it on audio and follow along with it, but I'm excited to see what I think, and they just have nothing but praise for this book. I think they both gave it 5 stars, so I'm excited to see what I think of it and see if I really enjoy it. Alright, we are down to the last 4 of the Book of the Month books, and these are from March and June, and I can't remember what the last 2 are from, but the first one from March is Wayward by Amelia Hart. This one sounds interesting. Now, I wasn't sure at first if I was going to get it. I actually did not get this book in March. I got it last month, but because I've been hearing so many people talk about it and rave about it, but I believe this has something to do with magic and witches, and I don't want to know much about it. It does go through 2019, 1619, 1942, and it takes you across, I guess, like 5 centuries of, I'm wondering if it's kind of like the same story or from the same family. And Hannah has talked about this and says she absolutely loved it, and I really want to give it a try. The next book that I got was a June pick, and it is a fantasy, and the book is Inkless SisterScribe by Emma Torzes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it says a little bit. In this spellbinding debut novel, 2 estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection. A tale of familial loyalty and betrayal in the pursuit of magic and power. That's all I need to know going into this. It has magic, it's a big fantasy, it has the sister aspect of it, and that's what I think I'm going to absolutely love about this book. This next book is actually it's not really a sequel, but it has one of the same characters from Part of Your World by this author, and I really absolutely love that book, and I can't wait to get to this one. And that is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez is a romance writer, and I am trying to make it through her books and seeing what I think and how they all differ. But this is her newest release, and this one is about Brianna, and she has a brother who has a disability, and she takes care of him. And then in walks this other doctor, and I believe they don't get off on the right foot, so it's kind of like an enemies to lovers aspect of it, and opposites attract, which I'm very excited for. But I really did enjoy Brianna in Part of Your World and cannot wait to get to her story. And the last book is by two of my favorite authors. I will read probably anything that they come out with, which I'm slowly making it through all their books also. And this book is The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. It's another romance, obviously, and it says, sparks fly when a romance novelist and documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. So I'm guessing that this one's going to be kind of like an opposites attract, and I just love the way Christina Lauren writes books and how simple they are to get through. Alright, so we're done with that stack. Only 3 more to go. Let's do this one right here. So, back in May, I went to Michigan with my mom, and there was this bookstore there. It was a small bookstore. I've never heard of it before. I think it was called Reader's World. And so I stopped in there and got I shouldn't say a couple books, quite a bit of books. I don't think they're all in this stack. They might be. And I am very excited to get to these. They just sounded really good, and that bookstore was amazing. So let's get into the stack. So the first book I'm going to talk about is more like I think a historical romance, or just a romance with the historic aspects in it. But that book is Mr. Malcolm's List by Susan Elaine, and it says, move over, Mr. Darcy, there's a new man in town. It is a truth universally acknowledged that an arrogant bachelor insistent on a wife who meets the strictest of requirements deserves his comeuppance. So I'm guessing he's kind of a cocky, probably prince or high-ranking guy, and this girl comes along and she's going to put him in his place, not take his crap, which just sounds great. It is a short read. It only has just over 200 pages, like 220, yeah, something like that. And I'm excited to read this because I think it's going to be funny and lighthearted, and we'll see what I think about it. We'll just move that stack on the floor. So these next 3 are part of a trilogy. I've read the first 2, hadn't gotten back around to the last one, so I think I'm going to do a reread of these sometime. And the 3 books are the Poppy War Trilogy by R.F. Huang. This book is so hard to explain. So it's a fantasy, and it's about this girl named Rin, and she aced this test, and so she goes off to this empire to get trained with her powers, and she ends up getting more and more powers as the story goes on that she didn't know she had. And there's a war, and I don't know, it's just hard to explain because it's such an epic fantasy that so much happens in these books that I cannot put into words. I absolutely love this trilogy and cannot wait to continue on with it and read R.F. Kuang's new book, Babel, and because I love R.F. Kuang's writing, and then I want to get her other book, Yellowface, to see what I think about that one. But yeah, these are hard to explain, but they're so good. There's no romance really in this book. I don't think there's romance at all in these books, but it's very high fantasy. So I can't wait to reread these books. The next 2 books are also part of a series. I have the first and the third. I need to eventually get the second and the fourth. And the 2 books are Twisted Love and Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. These are very spicy books. A lot of grumpy sunshine characters, and I've listened to Twisted Love, but it's been a while and I cannot remember what it's about, but I am excited to actually physically read these books and to see what I think and see if I love this as much as I did the first time, because I did enjoy it. I just cannot remember what it's about. This next one is one that I've heard from Sarah Caroli. She liked this book and Haley did too, I believe. And it is called Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blue. I think that's how you say it. Don't know for sure. But this takes place in the 1970s in Baltimore. A 14-year-old Mary Jane loves cooking with her mother, singing in her church choir, and enjoying Broadway show tunes for the month albums. Quiet and compliant, she's glad when she lands a summer job as a nanny for the daughter of a local doctor. A respectable job, Mary Jane's mother says, in a respectable house. The house may look respectable if I can read on the outside, but inside it's a literal and figurative mess. Clutter on every surface, impeachment, now more than ever, bumper stickers on the doors, takeout for dinner. Even more troublesome were Mary Jane's mother to find out. The doctor is a psychiatrist who has taken in a famous rock star and his movie star wife for the summer so that the rock star can get clean. Mary Jane introduces her new household to a crisply ironed clothes, milk that hasn't spoiled, and family dinner schedule in return. She has a front row seat to a world of sex, drugs, rock music, and group therapy. Caught between the lifestyle she's always known and the future she's only just realized is possible. Mary Jane will arrive at September with a new idea about how she wants out of life, or what she wants out of life, and what kind of person she's going to be. This sounds like it's going to be very good. I've heard great things about it and can't wait to get to this one, hopefully soon. So those books that I talked about were from Michigan, from Reader's World, and I think there is a couple more in these stacks back here from there. But this next book is by an author that I absolutely love, and it is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood writes STEM romance books, and I'm excited to read it. I have heard that one of the main characters in this book is a type 1 diabetic, so I'm excited to see the representation in this book and to see what I think and how realistic it is, because I am a type 1 diabetic, and I love reading books that have that representation in it. But it says, rivals physicists collide in a vortex of academic feuds and fake dating shenanigans in this delightful STEMinist rom-com from the New York Times bestselling author of The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. I have read all of Ali Hazelwood's books that she has out so far and can't wait to get to this one. Ali Hazelwood's books are so easy to get to and enjoy, and I have nothing but great things to say about them. This next book has been out for a while. I know it's crazy that I haven't read it. When it first came out, I wasn't sure if it was going to be my cup of tea. Only because it had to do with one of the main characters from another book. Well, one of the side characters from another book. And I knew she did tennis and stuff. But I've heard some pretty good things about this book. I know Destiny Sidwell loved this book. And so I figured, why not give it a try? And that book is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is about Carrie Soto, who is a tennis player, but I think she's retired. And a new tennis player is coming up and is going to beat her record score. So she ends up going back out there and wants to play one more season of tennis and see if she can keep up with her scores and awards and everything that she's gotten. But she is older. She is 37, and usually that is too old for tennis players. So I'm excited to see what she goes through in this book and what she accomplishes in this book. This next book is a book that I already own, but I really wanted it in paperback, so I'm going to get rid of the hardback. And this movie is going to be coming out here, I think soon, on Amazon Prime. And that book is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I absolutely love this book the first time I read it. and I am going to give it a reread in the next couple of months. But this is about a prince and the first son of the first lady president of the United States, and they absolutely hate each other. But then something happens at a party, and the two households decide we're going to make them fix this. And so they have to come together, and they start becoming friends, and a love story happens between the two guys, and it's so beautiful. I really do love this book. This is my favorite Casey McQuiston book that I have read so far, and I cannot stop thinking about it, especially since the movie's going to be coming out. Alright, so we have 2 more stacks to go, and I am excited to get this done with. It's so many books. This editing is going to be, I feel like it's going to be horrible to do. But anyways, this next book is one that I've heard great things about. It's more of like a sapphic story, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I know there's a second book coming out to this, or it's already out. I cannot remember. But it says, after a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, Viv is hanging up her sword for the last time. The battle-weary orc aims to start fresh, opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thune, but rivals old and new stand in the way of success. Not to mention the fact that no one has the faintest idea what coffee actually is. If Viv wants to put the blade behind her and make her plans a reality, she won't be able to go it alone. But the true rewards of the uncharted path are the travelers you meet along the way, and whether drawn together by ancient magic, a flaky pastry, or a freshly brewed cup, they may become partners, family, and something deeper than she ever could have dreamed. This sounds like more of a found family aspect to it, and I am excited to read it. Plus, it has to do with the coffee shop, and I love coffee, and I think it's going to be great. This next book is by one of my favorite thriller writers, and I am so excited to get to it because I have loved some of his books. I have okay feelings about others, and this one I have really high hopes for. And that book is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I got this from my Walmart, and I'm excited to read this. It says a little snippet. At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope, stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. This kind of reminds me of a Lizzie Borden kind of story, but it sounds really good and mystery and whodunit, and I can't wait to read it. I just got done reading a book by Riley Sager. It's Lock Every Door. I didn't really enjoy that one, but this one is, I feel like it's going to be really good, and I can't wait to get to this, and I'll probably get to it before October even happens because this was one of my most anticipated books of the year. The next one was a pre-order of mine. It is the last book to a series I am currently reading, and I'm reading the book before this one, so I'm almost done with this series, and that book is Cherish by Tracy Wolff. This is the last book in the Crave series. If you don't know, Crave is about a girl named, oh my gosh, why do I forget her name all the time? Grace, that's her name, Grace, popped in my head. And her parents die, and so she has to go to Alaska to live with her uncle and her cousin. And her uncle is the headmaster of this boarding school, and so she just thinks it's an ordinary boarding school, but little does she know, it's a school full of paranormals, vampires, dragons, werewolves, witches, and things start happening, and I love this series. I will say the first 2 books, I've said it in my vlogs, which I will put them up in the eye if you want to go watch them. Get past the first 2 books, because after the first 2 books, the series gets so much better. I can't wait to finish this and see what I think of the whole wrap-up of this story. So, this next book is one that is very very popular on Booktube, TikTok, Instagram. I've heard nothing but hype for this book, and the second book is going to be out this fall. I really, really, really want to pre-order it, which I probably will in a couple weeks. And no one can find this book at bookstores or anything, and luckily I found mine at my local Walmart. And I mean, these books are going for $300-$400 now. People are reselling them for that because they can't find them anywhere, and the edges are just gorgeous. But the book I am talking about is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know what it's about. I just know it has dragons, romance, some spiciness in it. It is gorgeous cover. The dragons on the side. This map right here as the end pages is just gorgeous. I don't know. There's nothing really on the naked book of it, but the hype of this book is ridiculous. Like, anytime I'm on Instagram, someone's reading it. Someone's hyping it up. Anytime I'm on Booktube, it's the same thing. So I am committed to getting to this book this month because I have serious FOMO and want to know what the hype is about this book. Alright, the next book that I have is one that is very popular and is a big series, and people say you either like it or you don't. I believe I'm going to like it, and that book is the first Zodiac Academy book, The Awakening, by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. I think this has to do with twin sisters. I know that, but I don't know what else it's about, and I know it has magic in it. But it says, I'm a Gemini, impulsive, curious, headstrong, a twin, heir to a throne. I know nothing about it, and it turns out I'm Fae. So it has Fae in it, and I love anything with Fae. If you know me, if you've been on my channel, you know that I absolutely love the ACOTAR series, the Throne of Glass series, Crescent City. I'm probably going to love this because it has Fae in it. I love books with Fae. I love Cassandra Clare books because it has Fae in it. So I am really, really excited to get to this, but I want to wait until I get the whole series so I can binge it and do a reading vlog for it. But they're so big and they're expensive. They are not cheap. And yeah, so this one, I don't know when I'm going to get to it. But when I do, I am doing a reading vlog of the whole series. This next book is a chunker. When I say a chunker, I mean it has over 800 pages in it. And the only reason why I got it is because it's going to be the first time in my mom and my sister-in-law's book club that we would ever read a book by this author for the book club. I think my sister-in-law has read a couple of his other books, but for the book club, it's going to be our first one by this author, and that book is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. This is a book about, I think a guy goes back in time and tries to stop the shooting of JFK, and I'm excited to see how this book plays out and all the ideas that Stephen King came up with. But I don't know how well, like, that's a lot of information in a book. Over 800 pages. This thing is a tome. And I'm hoping I really like it. This will be, if I make it through the whole thing, it will be my first Stephen King book that I fully read. I've tried reading Carrie. I've tried reading Misery. It just never happens. I just cannot get through them. And I'm hoping this one's going to be different and I'm going to love it. This next book is a second book to a series, and it is The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. Elle Kennedy writes sports romance, and this one's part of the Off-Campus series. I believe it's hockey players. And I believe she is I think she's a ballerina. I don't know. I don't think so, no. I don't know. But it's just, it's an ice hockey romance, and I'm excited to get to it, and I did love the deal, and I can't wait to see where this story goes, and where the series goes. And the last book on this stack is a graphic novel. I have been reading this graphic novel series, and this book just came out like a month ago, or a couple weeks ago actually, and it is volume 4 in this series, and it is Lore Olympus. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and not really retelling, just, yeah, I guess it is a retelling. But I love these graphic novels. I cannot get enough of them. The artwork in these are beautifully done, and I can't wait to see how they continue on from the last one. I think I'm going to give them all a reread because I love them so much, and I need to remember what I read in the last one, but I'm excited to get to this and to see what happens, and I think there's going to be even more of these coming out also. Alright guys, you ready? It is the last stack. The last stack of this book haul. So the first couple of books I'm going to be talking about from the stack are Lucy Score books, and I'm just going to go right through them. I'm not going to talk to you what they're about because I really don't know what they're about. So we have Maggie Moves On, Pretend You're Mine, and Finally Mine. I do know that there is a third book to this trilogy, and I need to get it, but yeah, these are the books by Lucy Score that I bought. I love Lucy Score's writing and have slowly been collecting all of her books. This next one is a new book series by this author I talked about earlier, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail about this book, but it is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This one is gonna deal with, I really don't know. But she was my North Star, the brightest jewel in my sky. That's all I want to know going into it. I love going into books not knowing much, if you know me. So yeah, I'm excited to see if I like this book by this author also. And then we have One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I got this book because I've heard nothing but wonderful things about this book. And it has a movie coming out to it. Basically, this girl is married. Her husband goes off and he ends up going missing, and so years have gone by and she's finally healed, and she finally starts dating again and finds love again, and all of a sudden one day she gets a phone call from him, and it's gonna be a crazy mess, but I'm excited. I've heard this is one of Taylor Jenkins Reid's best writing, and yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. This next book is a romance, obviously, and it is Too Beautiful to Break by Tessa Bailey. It says, can the forced proximity of one wild road trip bring two childhood friends back together? So I'm guessing it's friends to lovers / enemies to lovers / forced proximity, and I'm gonna love it. I just know I'm going to love it. Tessa Bailey is a hit or miss for me on a lot of her books, and I can't wait to read this one and see what I think, especially since it has a friends to enemies to friends to lovers aspect, and I love that trope in books. This next one, I saw it at Walmart and decided I needed it, read the back, but I don't know really much about it. But it is Wings, Once Cursed and Bound by Piper J. Drake. And it says, my wings unbound, I am the Thai bird princess. I am the canary, and no matter the cost, I will be free. That sounds amazing. I'm excited for this book. It is a fantasy, and I'm hoping there's romance in it, and it's 300 pages long, so it's not very long at all. So I'm hoping it's really good, especially since it's a short fantasy book. These last books I got from Barnes & Noble the other day, and two of them were from the buy one get one for half off. So the one that I got, one of them is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. This one I've heard great things about. It has some smut in it, spiciness. But it says, a woman discovers the father of the child she is nannying may be her biggest, only fan in this steamy contemporary romance by Lana Ferguson. That's all I want to know going into this, and I've seen like on TikTok that this book is very, very, very good, and lots and lots of steamy scenes in it. This next book has been around for a while, and I've been wanting to read it, and it is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. It says, enter the players. There were 7 of us then, 7 bright young things with wide, precious futures ahead of us. Until that year, we saw no further than the books in front of our faces. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Colborne wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is finally ready to tell it. A decade ago, Oliver is one of the 7 young Shakespearean actors at the Lecker Classical Conservatory, a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. In this secluded world of firelight and leather-bound books, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off. Hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, and extra. But in their 4th and final year, good-natured rivalries turn ugly, and an opening night real violence invades the students' world of make-believe. In the morning, the 4th years find themselves facing their very own tragedy and their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police, each other, and themselves that they are innocent. This sounds really good, and I cannot wait to get to this. I'm probably going to push it off until October, but we'll see. I might need a little bit of a thriller mystery in the next couple of months. These last 3 books are all part of a series. I only got the first 3, but I don't know really much about it, but I watched Jodie's video, and she absolutely loves these books. And so they are Iron King, The Iron Daughter, and The Iron Queen, all by Julie Kagawa. I just know this has like fae in it, and I've heard great things about it. It says, enter a fantastical world of dangerous fairies, wicked princess, and one half-human girl who discovers her entire life is a lie. This special edition of The Iron King includes the bonus novella, Winter's Passage, and an exclusive excerpt from the new Iron Fae book, The Iron Raven. But yeah, I'm excited to get to these because I know Jodie raves about these and she absolutely loves them. And I wish I would have just got the special editions that one of the book boxes was doing, but they weren't doing all of the books. It was only like the first 3 or 4. But yeah, I can't wait to get to these, and they're going to look so gorgeous on my bookshelf. Alright, you guys. We're done. That was such a long book haul. I know it felt like I rushed through it. But I know when I go back and edit this, it's going to be a long editing process. But yeah, if you have read any of these books, let me know which ones you've read in the comments below and what you thought about them. But keep it spoiler free. I'm excited to see what you guys think and which ones I should push for to read first from this stack and go from there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and that subscribe with that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know when I am posting. And as always, keep on reading, people. Bye!